This is the Mark Moses Show on Sports Radio, The Fan, 107.9 FM, 1560 AM, and anywhere you listen online and podcast. You can be a part of the conversation at 321-984-1234. Now, here's your host, Mark Moses.
Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to a Monday edition. Oh, no, wait. It's a Tuesday edition of the Mark Moses Show. Only right here on Sports Radio 107.9 FM, 1560 AM, and anywhere you listen online and podcast. It feels like it should be a Monday. No, we had Labor Day yesterday, and now we're back to the grind here on a Tuesday. All right, we got that out of the way. Now let's get to the big meat and potatoes. What's going on in the world? Here's what's going on. And I'm going to start with this. If I would have told you last Friday, as we were getting ready for the holiday weekend, that the two biggest storylines today, this afternoon, in the great state of Florida are this. Number one, that the coach at the University of Florida would not understand that there are no basements in the state. And number two, a Florida State fan said he would eat dog poop if the Noles lost last night against Boston College. Those are the two biggest headlines right now. Dog poop and basements in Florida. That's the world we live in. That's where we're at right now. No, seriously. That's how bad it is right now. If you're a football fan for the University of Florida or Florida State University, they're both 0-1 and 0-2, 0-3 combined. These are all actual facts that are going on. Man, oh man. It's destroyed my brain so much that I thought today was Monday. No, it's Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. Let's start with the Gators. And there's a lot of things I have to get off my chest. And what's funny is, it happened Saturday. I've been talking about this story nonstop behind the scenes and social media, friends and family. I feel like I'm over the story, but we still haven't brought it up on this actual show. So again, let's get it off our chest. Number one, I have been here since 2013. So this now is, and it's crazy to say, we're in 2024. It is my, can I do this all the time? I think it's going to be my 12th season covering the Gators. In my time being here, over a decade, that is the worst loss I have ever seen at the Swamp, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, there on the campus of the University of Florida. It's the worst loss. The worst. It's a butt kicking. And it could have been even worse by the hand of the University of Miami. Hurricanes went up to Gainesville and kicked the crap out of the Gators. Embarrassed them in that football game. And a lot of people are going with, well, you know, that game in 13 with Georgia Southern, and that was pretty bad. This is worse. At least the Georgia Southern game, which, you know, famously is when two offensive linemen for the Gators blocked each other on a play. At least that was competitive. At least that was 4 quarters of football. And there's been a lot of bad games since I've been here. That was the worst, because it could have been worse. It was what, 41-17? It could have been 65-17. The Hurricanes let up after a while. They could have kept scoring in that football game. It's the worst. It's the worst. And you know what I'm going to say, but if you're just waking up from a coma and you don't know what's going on in the world, I will inform you. For the 3 people that don't know, that was year 3. Year 3. With Billy Napier as head football coach, year 3. And he was taking on a team in Miami where Mario Cristobal was also entering year 3. So they got hired around the same time, and they've been both working to get to that point. It was a collision course of 2 programs that met there at Gainesville over the weekend. And coming out of that game, one team looks like they're becoming a contender in college football, and the other one's turning into a laughingstock of college football. That's why if that was the first game that Napier coached, it was year 1, he got hired in the spring, and he's going to need some time to really build the program. You'd be like, okay, they're not good, but you know what? Let's build this and give it 2 or 3 years. No, It's year 3. Those are your players. Those are your schemes. Those are your coaches. That is your print on the program. That's all on you. You can't say, oh, well, Dan Mullen this and Dan Mullen. No. This is on you. All of it. Every person on that roster is from you. Coaches, athletic department, everything is on Billy Napier. It's on him. And it was awful. And it got even worse yesterday. All right, it's one thing losing the game, and you've destroyed all optimism for the rest of the season. But then, finally, there was a crack. Finally. I never believe that there should be press conferences on Labor Day. Just take the day off. We'll do this on Tuesday. Just take it off. And honestly, that's what Billy Napier and the coaching staff at Florida should have done. They should have never had a press conference yesterday with the local media. Because he made a comment that just showed, you know what, he is cracking under the pressure. He is. And in case you missed it, I'm going to play it for you right now. All right, let's bring this up. Here is Coach Napier, and you should hear this on the video feed and on the broadcast feed. Here's Napier. He said a lot of things yesterday. Here's the one that really stuck out to everyone.
We got to go to work on the football part, and I think we got to become a more consistent team, and we have to execute better. And if we can focus on those things and not necessarily what some guy in his basement's saying in rural Central Florida on social media, then we got a chance to get better, right? So
that's it. That's the nail in the coffin right there. And I like Coach Napier. I've met him a couple times. He came here to Brevard County. He spoke there in Vieira last year. He's a good dude. He's not the coach moving forward. He can't be. After that, it's over. That was the nail in the coffin, that comment right there. And it reminds me of when Dan Mullen, they lost in 21 there in Jacksonville to the Georgia Bulldogs and got embarrassed. And post-game, my good friend David Waters with Gators Breakdown threw a softball question at Dan Mullen and asked him, what about recruiting? And Mullen just, in the heat of the moment made a comment of, the words of, well, we're not worried about that right now. We will when it's recruiting season. And that was the nail that destroyed the end of Dan Mullen there at Florida. And that comment yesterday by Billy Napier, that feels like that's the end of him at the University of Florida. That's exactly what that sounds like. And it's sad to say this. I've been here since 2013. Napier is the 4th coach that I've covered at Florida, and now I'm getting mentally prepared to go cover a 5th coach at the University of Florida. That is wild, man. Wild. Muschamp, McElwain, Mullen, Napier. Who's the 5th one going to be? And today is September 3rd. That comment, the basement comment, that's the first time in 3 years you have heard that guy, Billy Napier, say something out of character like that. Because he usually gives you vanilla. He usually gives you nothing. And he never cracks, and he never says anything kind of stupid. That was stupid. He knew what he was doing, and the pressure's getting to him. And again, we all know this. There are no basements in Florida. And I think he knows that as well, but it's always that, some nerd in his basement making a comment. You always hear that. But he said that comment. He attacked the fans. And I know later in the press conference, he thanked the fans. It doesn't matter. It's too late. And it's one of those things where we got to be better. You know what? I'm tuning it out. I am. I get it. You got to be better. Well, then go be better. That was bad. They were bad on offense, defense. You're like, oh, well, we played well on special teams. Okay, so you punted the ball well. That was bad. That was so bad. That is the worst loss I've ever seen there at the Swamp. The worst. What is that nonsense? For as bad Mullen was, he wasn't getting embarrassed like that. And those Hurricane fans, they were so happy, and I don't blame them. They've been bad for 20 years now. And maybe finally there's some hope there in South Florida. Maybe. And the question you got to ask yourself is, okay, how good are the Miami Hurricanes? How good are they right now? And how good can they be moving forward? And how bad are the Florida Gators? How bad are they after a while? That's a legitimate question you need to ask. And we've been talking for 6-7 straight months how hard this schedule is. So the update after the shellacking they got by the Hurricanes, how many wins do they have? How many wins does Florida have? 2? 3? Who can they beat? They should beat Sanford. And then what? Can they beat UCF? Can they beat Mississippi State? Can they beat Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri? I don't think so. They're not beating Georgia. They're not beating Texas. They're not beating LSU. Who are they beating after a while? This is bad, man. This is really, really bad. And then when you go on top of that is, all right, let's say you get rid of Billy Napier. And these are real discussions we are having now to kick off the week. Let's say you get rid of Billy Napier. Who's hiring the next guy? Is it Scott Strickland? Are you letting him, who hired Mullen that turned out to be a disaster, and now Napier might be even a bigger disaster? Are you going to let Scott Strickland, the AD, are you going to let him hire another coach? I'm not. No way. There's no way I'm letting him hire another. No, I'm sorry. You know this. If you hire an athletic director, they get to hire a basketball coach and a football coach. And they get to see what they can do. That's how it is. No. And then I get reports, oh, well, they have an interim president. So what is happening here after a while? And on top of that, I'm just like stockpiling here. You can't go cheap either. No. This is the University of Florida. There's 22 million people in this state. It's a big state. And the Gators are a gigantic brand. You can't go cheap. You can't, well, we'll get some up-and-coming guy from the Sun Belt. No. I know there's this thing, well, you can't be delusional. You can't get this. No. You need to open up the checkbook. You have to do the buyout for Billy Napier, pay him off. And honestly, Florida's used to that because they're paying off Mullen and McElwain. And you can just go on and on and on. You got to open up the checkbook and you got to pay someone. Now, is that Lane Kiffin? Is that Urban Meyer again? Whoever it is, you can't go cheap. They did that with Napier. No. The top guys are getting $8 to $10 million a year. You can't show up and be like, well, we'll get this guy and pay him $4 million. Oh, no. Because this program's at a crossroad right now. Where do they want to go? Do they want to be mediocre? Do they want to be middle of the pack? Or do they want to compete to make this 12-team playoff? Again, college football made it easier to make the postseason. And the program's making it harder to get there. That was bad, man. So they're going to win this weekend. I don't know, hopefully. And DJ Lagway's going to start, so that's exciting. That was the only exciting part of the fourth quarter on Saturday. Is at least I got to see DJ Lagway, who's the 5-star high school player of the year, supposed to be the future of the program. All right, he went out there. First drive, 3 and out. Second drive, they went and scored a touchdown. Go play him. And I know the O-line is trash, and you're not sure what the skilled position players are. Like, you're not sure. You don't know if the defense could stop anyone. But hey, what do you have to lose? Just throw Lagway out there. I don't care if he fails. Throw him out there. You signed him up. You got him all this NIL money. Throw him out there. I've seen enough of Mertz. You're not going to win with him. Throw Lagway out there. Give him reps. Give him confidence. Let him learn the position at the SEC level. And maybe he'll want to stay if Napier's still the coach or if you go get another coach. Lagway's the only reason I would keep watching the games or listening to the games. And I play the games here on The Fan. I'm not kidding around. You got to play Lagway. He's going to start because Mertz got the concussion. It goes to a bigger problem. I don't understand. So you look at UCF, you look at Florida, you look at Florida State. The whole offseason, Florida State, DJ's our guy. Florida, Mertz is our guy. UCF, same thing. Jefferson's our guy. These guys can't play quarterback at a high level. I'm sorry, they can't. And if we go to Florida State, I don't know what the hell they were smoking. I don't know what they saw on the tape, but this DJU guy, he cannot start for Florida State moving forward. And I don't care if you spent the whole offseason giving him first-team reps or you got him all this NIL money. He can't play quarterback at this level. He can't. There were throws in that game last night I think there are players at the high school level could have made. That guy can't make them. Florida State had no business losing to Georgia Tech 2 weekends ago and last night against Boston College. Those are mediocre football teams. Give them credit. They won those games. But Florida State had no business. None. An average quarterback would have made those throws last night, and Florida State wins that game. And when they got to that position, they're down a score, and it's 4th and 5 at midfield. And DJ feels the pressure, and he throws this rainbow pass right to the Boston College defender, and he runs down the field, sets them up in the goal line situation, and they score. Game over. Not 1 inch of my body thought Florida State could come back and win. Not 1 inch. And they went 13-0, won the ACC, and should have been in the playoff last year. And I've already given up on them as well. That was bad. So the question is, you look at this. 2 seasons ago, Mike Norvell, he won 10 games. Last year, he won the conference. Should have been in the playoff. Quarterback got injured. He won, in theory, 23 games combined in the last 2 seasons. Now he can't get a win. And going into last night, it's like, well, they're going to bounce back. They'll go to 1-1, and they'll still be in contention to maybe make the playoff. That's out the door. The question is, can they win a football game? And we need to look at the schedules. Who's going to win more games this year? Is it Florida State or is it Florida? I don't. And I heard some radio shows this morning discussing, well, Mike Norvell's in the hot seat. I'm sorry. No, he's not. Okay, I know he lost first 2 games. No, they're all in on Mike Norvell. He needs to find a quarterback, and they will win some football games. It's not the DJ guy. His job status is not in trouble. It's not. If they go 0-12, like you remember when UCF did that in 2015, all right, maybe we'll talk. Norvell is fine. Is he going to the playoff? No. Can he still turn around, win, 8 games this year? Bounce back? Sure, why not? He's not on the hot seat. That is the stupidest, laziest take I've ever seen on September 3rd. It is. Billy Napier, it is beyond scalding hot. He's on the hot seat. Florida State is bad, but they're not Florida Gators bad. They're not. They're not. Now, when they meet at the end of the year, well, maybe we'll have a different story. We are. Man, that was bad. I did not see that coming last night with Florida State. And in case you don't know the story, there was a Florida State fan, trying to get my words correct, a Florida State fan on Twitter. He went by 321 Noel. I don't know, maybe he's in Brevard County. I don't know. He wrote, this is how stupid people are on the internet. He wrote, if Florida State loses this game, I will eat dog bleep. And I will post it. Ha ha ha. And when they got down in this football game in the second quarter, people started coming after this guy. They coming after him. Well, you're going to have to eat that dog poop, and you're going to have to eat this. And he got so much flack, the guy felt embarrassed and deleted his Twitter account. I don't blame him. And he deleted all social media. I feel bad for the guy. I do. And there's a point. His post had like a couple million views. And I know Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter last night was making fun of the guy. That's the world we live in. One guy doesn't know that there are no basements in Florida. Or maybe he does. I don't know. And the other one is you have to eat dog poop now because Florida State's 0-2. That's the world we live in. And who's the big winner in all of this? Miami football. For the first time in 2 decades or so, Hurricanes. Yeah, they might have a team. And Cam Ward, I don't know. If he plays Florida every week, he'll probably win the Heisman Trophy. This stat, I'm telling you, this stat is so shocking to me. You think about this. Miami had 11 plays for over 20 yards in that football game. They carved up the Gators. Embarrassed them. And I know a lot of people that love the Hurricane football team. I know a lot of people that cover the Hurricanes. They are ecstatic. They are so happy. I've never seen them like this. It was just one game. And look, the Hurricanes could blow it and lose another game and lose 4 more games. Who knows? But right now, those Hurricane fans are on cloud 9 for the first time since maybe the early 2000s. And Cam Ward looks legit. And again, he carved up the Gators. And it was easy when he had 20 seconds to throw the ball from the pocket. That was insane. Insane. Whole country saw that. I was on national TV. Last night's game with Florida State, national TV. I don't think Florida State's going to be in any primetime games moving forward. Especially the Gators also. They'll be playing at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, we have the schedule for the Gators moving forward here on the Fan. Like, 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3:30. No. Every game should be 9 in the morning. They're probably going to beat Sanford. Who knows what the score is going to be? They'll probably win. Knock on wood. Then they got Texas A&M in 2 weeks. Is Napier going to survive that game? Is Napier going to survive till the end of this day? I don't know. But from a content standpoint, fantastic. This show is going to be electric for the next couple of weeks and months as we get all the way to Christmas Day. Can't wait. Right. And you know what's crazy on top of that? News and notes. Coco destroyed Mainland on Friday night. That team won a state championship last year. Coco destroyed them. 51-0. 51-0. Rockledge also beat, oh no, I apologize. O'Galley beat Rockledge 40-0. A lot of blowouts here in Brevard County on Friday night. And NFL football is back on Thursday. And this happens every year at this time. I was like, wow, college football is awesome. And the NFL's like, oh yeah, we're even better than college football with our product. We are locked in, buddy. High school, college, NFL. And the thing I took out of the weekend, my dad, we were watching Florida-Miami. And he looked at me right in the eye. And he was dead serious. He said, look, Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, we're watching that Bears-Titans game, Mark. I don't care. We are watching. I don't care if we have to go to a sports bar restaurant. We are watching that game. He's ready. He is ready. And I know you're ready as well. We're going to preview the new NFL season, which starts Thursday when it's Chiefs and Ravens. The return of Taylor Swift to our lives. And all day today, we're talking Gators. We're talking Knowles. We're going to keep you locked in until 6 o'clock. And the question of the day is, should Billy Napier be fired at the University of Florida? We'll ask this guy next. He's Andrew Spivey, Gator Country. Oh, he's going to have strong opinions, and he'll join us next.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report.